So San Diego Studios just finished their presentation and commentary live stream going over some of the new features that are going to be in the show 18. And there was a theme to it. They were talking about Mark DeRosa, they were talking about the new replay system. But at the end of the stream, Ramon came on and wanted to show off a new feature that had nothing to do with presentation and commentary, and it did feel a little out of place, but there's a reason for that. And that's because this feature actually just got put into the game in the past week. So what am I talking about here? Well, Ramon showed off a brand new defensive change to the show 18 that actually is going to have a pretty big impact. Now, this is mainly going to affect a lot of competitive players, mainly at the high level of things, because chances are if you're a franchise player or a Road to the Show player, you won't really see this too much. So in MLB The Show 17, there was I would call it an exploit. Other people might call it, you know, just they might have their difference of opinion on it, and that's totally fine. But in my eyes, it was an exploit. Basically, you could play any player in the game at first base on defense. It didn't matter if they were a pitcher, it didn't matter if they had a secondary position of first base or not, they could still play it no matter what. It didn't matter if they were an outfielder. Any player in the game really could play first base and not take that much of a defensive penalty. For example, my outfield was Mike Trout in left field, Ken Griffey Jr. in center field, Andre Dawson in right field, and then I wanted to use the 99 Carlos Beltran on my team, but there's no DH, I had nowhere to put him, so I just threw him at first base, and there was little to no defensive penalty for me not playing him in the outfield. He played first base just like any other first baseman would play. Joey Votto, Paul Goldschmidt, Jeff Bagwell, any other really good first baseman in the game, Carlos Beltran was making just as many defensive web gems as routine plays. Like it didn't really matter. So after the stream last week, not the one that just happened today, there was a discussion between a few community members, myself involved, on Twitter, where we talked about which things were not right with that. We talked about how it really wasn't making sense to have somebody play first base if they didn't have a secondary position at that position. So Ramon came on the stream, he talked about it. I'm actually just going to go ahead and let the clip play so you guys can hear it right from his mouth, and then I'll talk a little bit about it after. So watch this clip, and then I'll see you in a second.
If I can get the widget that I want. All right, here we go.
All right, he got it.
What are we showing off here, Ramon?
We have Ted Williams at first base. Why do we have Ted Williams at first base? Well, we asked on Twitter, guys was like, what are you doing for out of position logic? And I was like, well, what out of position
Absolutely.
do you think is kind of weak or we need to change? It's like first base, you can put anybody at first base. So we put Ted Williams at first base. Let's see how Ted Williams performs at first base. Oh, he's dropped two balls. Let's we're just gonna keep on doing this
to
see how many of these he can catch, and then I'll explain to you what's going on here. Is he going to drop this one? He dropped that one too. So what is happening here? We are playing a left fielder, outfielder at first base. So this happened in the last 3 days. Chris Gill, Lance Leahy, and Jeff Ullman. We told him what the problem was. Jeff worked on it. If you play an outfielder at first base, he's pretty much going to drop like 98% of the catches. He's not going to be able to field the ball. So, we're just going to pull him off.
And he can't play those like animations that would
normally get those tags. So what we're doing is, if you're playing an outfielder at first base, we are forcing him into stretch catches, and we are forcing him to drop the ball. Boom. So I don't think you're going to want to play Ted Williams or outfielders or guys who don't have first base as a secondary at first base. So he finally made one. So if you get a perfect throw into his chest, he will catch some of those because there is a dice roll. But as you can see, the vast majority of these, he's going to drop.
You can't expect.
So I don't know if that's going to be something you want to do. And again, so let's see. We're going to put Springer at second. Let's find out what happens.
Same thing would happen if you put Kyle Saul at first base.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But I mean,
we force him into a throw ready, and Ted Williams drops that ball. So there we go. This is something that we did especially for online play. Guys were putting, who was that? Cougs, Carlos Beltran at first base. I don't think you're going to want to do that anymore. So that's it for us. I'll show you one more time to see what happens. And we got a guy playing out of position at second.
Whoops.
Well, that's on Correa.
That's not good.
And he's probably going to drop that. And he drops the ball again. I think. Is that it?
So there you guys go. So if you decide to play somebody like Ted Williams, or in my case, Carlos Beltran, over at first base, he's not going to do well over there. Because he probably shouldn't. Now, just to be completely fair, I do see the argument from the other side. People are saying that sometimes later in their careers, players will play at that position anyway, and that's fair if you're looking at it from a realism aspect, but at the same time, these cards are meant to play a specific position. The 2004 postseason Carlos Beltran is not supposed to play first base. The live series Mike Trout is not supposed to play first base. There's a reason that these cards don't have that secondary position of first base, is because they have no business playing that position. So in my eyes, it is an exploit, and I'm very happy that San Diego Studios is taking steps to fix this. Now, to be completely clear, I don't think that just because somebody doesn't have first base as a secondary position means they can't completely play the spot. In real life, players can learn to play the position pretty quick. They might not be experts at it, but they can learn how to feel the ball, get the lateral movement, know when to cover, know when to charge, you know, like they can figure it out. But at the end of the day, in terms of the game that we're playing, in terms of the way the defense works in MLB The Show, these guys do play like they're gold glovers over there, and that just shouldn't be the case. So SDS pretty much just tried the best they could to get a permanent fix on this as close as they could. This is very reminiscent, in my opinion, of bunt cheese in MLB The Show 17. If you guys don't know, MLB 16 had a very bad problem with bunting. The entire mechanic just completely was broken. And in MLB 17, they took steps to fix that, where players who didn't have any business bunting wouldn't see success when they bunted, and it kind of feels the same way to me that that's what they're leaning towards this year. So let me know what you guys think about this. Are you excited that they've added this into the game? Are you disappointed? Personally, I'm pretty excited about it because that means I'm actually going to have to be forced to use players at that natural position instead of just throwing anybody I want at that position. But that's just me. You guys can feel free to disagree with that in the comments. But anyway, guys, that is the big defensive change coming to MLB The Show 18. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. Like I said, let me know what you think about it in the comments below. Subscribe to the channel for more MLB The Show 18 news and info. That's all I have for you today. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you in the next one. Peace.